In this section of videos, we're going to be going through the AR and order entry modules. So you won't really be putting invoices in through the Accounts Receivable module. If you're creating project contract invoices, you'll do that through projects, through this Generate Invoices button. And if you wanted to create invoices that are not related to project contracts, you could use the order entry module and the quick bill transaction. And if you create invoices within order entry and projects, they will automatically flow through to accounts receivable and they can be paid then out of accounts receivable. So let's take a look at creating a quick bill invoice in order entry. And I'm going to go down to my entity level to create that transaction. So if I go to my drop down, click into order entry, and then I see I have my little plus button here for quick bill on my menu, which means I can actually just add from here. So I'm going to click that so that I can add directly from the main screen. And anything with a red asterisk here is required. So I do need to put in obviously a customer. So I'm going to do Nighthawk Developers. My bill to, ship to, and terms are going to default from my customer setup, as is my default retainage percentage. So it's coming in at 10%, which was set up at the customer level. So I can put in a project that's associated with this. I'm going to do Satanta Towers. And you can add attachments across Intacct wherever you see this. You can either drop it down and hit add and browse from your computer, or you can drag and drop in attachments. So that is available across Intacct. And then you have all these other additional fields that you can fill in. They're not required if they do not have a red asterisk. On your entries screen down here, then, here's your main entry screen. And then if there are other dimensions that you can't see, you can hit the show details button and it brings up every dimension that you can possibly code to. And if you wanted to move this around, let's say it doesn't flow quite like how you would want it to, you can hit more actions and edit entries layout, and you can move around those fields however you like. So let's say location's always required, but I'm going to pull that down because it's going to default in from the project. So I'm going to pull that down here, and once I see the gray box, I can drop it in. So I want to have project, cost code, cost type, item on my main screen, and these other fields are fine. I'm going to leave them alone. So then here I have apply layout changes to all form views. So whether I am creating, editing, or viewing a quick bill, I want this entry screen to look like this. So I'm going to click that button to say, yes, I do want to apply it to create, edit, and view. And we're going to save layout. And then that is going to save this particular layout across the board, so other users will see what you set up here as well. So if I go to show defaults, it shows me that my Satanta Towers is in my project, which is coming in from up here. And then I'm at my Timberline development entity. So my location is coming in here. I can also put in a default department, cost code, whatever you like. And then and then hit apply defaults, and it will apply those defaults on each one of your lines. So anything with the red asterisk is required. You do have to code to an item when using order entry. That is how you will be getting to your GL account, because that is all built off of your items. So item is required, price is required. Anything with the red asterisk you do have to put in. So I'm not going to do cost code or cost type for the purposes of this video, but I'm going to do, let me just do contract item for my item. And then I'm going to do price, and I'm going to do 4,500. I'm not going to bother with retainage. I'm going to hold zero retainage. So $4,500 quick bill invoice for Nighthawk Developers, and I'm going to post. And that will create that quick bill in the system for me. And if I go to accounts receivable and look at invoices, that quick bill has flowed right through to accounts receivable. So in the accounts receivable module, then my summary title tells me where my invoice originated. So this is a quick bill invoice because it came from order entry. If it was created directly in accounts receivable, this would say invoices. And if it was a project contract invoice, the summary title would tell me project contract invoice. So from accounts receivable, I cannot delete this invoice because it was created in order entry. I do not see the option to delete out that invoice. If I go back to order entry and look at my quick bill invoice list, I do have the option to delete out that transaction from here. So I can actually do that. I can select and I can delete. And then once that's deleted, that has absolutely no effect on GL. If there was a payment applied to that quick bill invoice, I would not be able to delete it out of the system. It would have to be reversed. So there has to be an audit trail maintained if there's payments against invoices or bills. So anything that has a payment against it will have to be reversed out of the system. So if I go back to my top level and I click into my order entry view transactions and hit include private, I can see a bunch of transactions here, and I'm only going into this to show you how views work. So if I click manage views and create new view, I have the option to select from all of these options here what I want to put on my main view. So I can put like my project contract ID, contract date, different things, scope, whatever you want from these particular items you can put on your view. And then you have the option to set that column sequence so you can drag them around however you like. And then you can rename them all so that they say what makes most sense for you. On the next screen, then you have the option to put it in column filters. So let's say for your state, you could say state equals to submitted or drafted or paid or whatever the state would be. You can do several different options here. You have the option to do less than or equal to, let's say for dates or something like that, or contains, and you can put in your project ID. So lots of options there with your filters. And then you can sort your results as well. You can say like the most important thing for me is the date. I want to put that at the top and I want to go in ascending order or something like that. And then the last step is to give it a name. And then if you hit this deploy button, that means that you're allowing other users to be able to access that view. So they would also see that view if you hit deploy. If you leave that off, then you're the only one that's going to be able to see it. And then you would save. So once you've saved that view, then here in your all dropdown, if you click that, it would appear here if you've saved that view. And then from there, once you have a view that you like, it nearly acts like a report. And you can export it out to Excel or Word or wherever you want to send it. And that's going to be across Intacct as well. You can use these views and you can have them act like reports. You can also, filter out by just typing in a name here. So let's say I wanted to just look at anything that starts with star, any transactions that start with star, I can type that in up here. But then let's say I knew enterprises was in the name, but I didn't know where it was in the name. I could use my little % sign as my wildcard and then do enter, and it's going to bring up anything that has enter in the name. It doesn't necessarily have to start with that. It's just in the name. So use your % sign as a little wildcard there. So that's using your views like a report, basically. And then, that can be exported out. You can also import transactions across Intacct. So if you hit the import button, it gives you the option to download those templates that you can then put your information into to do your import. And when you get to the process of going live, there are certain templates that will give you where you have no choice but to put your information in because you're pulling in all your info from your old system. So you will get very familiar with import templates by the time you go live. And then also in order entry and accounts receivable, you have this, tax setup. So taxes are going to be covered in a separate section. There's quite a lot of setup to do to get your taxes all configured. So there's a whole separate section on that and will probably require you to do one-to-one with us. So if you have the need for that, that is upcoming. So that's just the first video on the order entry AR learning. So stay tuned for some more transactions that you can do within those two modules.